I'm sorry for that. I just want to always do a thorough job because I'm teaching so many in math. Here we are at the Iroquois Confederacy. We're moving on to a new topic. It's really a recap of an old topic. It's just some more explanation of what we already learned. So first we talked about leadership in government, right? And what happens is, first there's a problem, right? So this is how decisions are made. So first, oh, that's a bad old circle. Holy smokes. Hope you find that funny. So first, an issue arises. Two of the 6 tribes, the Mohawk and the Seneca, they will discuss it first, and then they discuss in their group, the chiefs, right? Because this is the Grand Council. This is the Grand Council. Grand Council. Okay? The Mohawk and the Seneca, they will discuss until all of them agree on how to take action. From there, right, the Oneida and the Cayuga, who joined later on in the Confederacy, they would also discuss the exact same issue. Now, if a different decision is reached, then we have 2 options, right? So let's say these guys, the Oneida and the Cayuga, they do not agree with what the Mohawk and the Seneca said. This is where we would go, right? Either it's set aside and they go back to the clans and they say, what do we do? Or the Onondaga, who are the hosts of the evening, right? They refer back and the process starts all over again. If the same decision is reached, right? That means these 2 separate groups, let's call them A and group B, let's say they reach a decision, okay? If they reach the exact same decision, then the Onondaga, the hosts of the evening, they'll say, yep, we made a decision, and the Mohawk will then announce it, saying this is what happened, and then they take their action. Okay, so that is, again, what we need to know. This is big. This will be on the next quiz, which is coming up right away. This is kind of how decision making happens within the clans. So first of all, but before we move it, I would just, because we're talking about it today, notice that consensus is needed here and consensus is needed here. That means before any decision is ever made, you need this thing called consensus. Same thing with just even on the clan scale. So what happens is, on the clan scale, is you have the women's council, you have the men's council, as you can see by the words, and in that circle, they need to come up with a consensus before they advise the clan mother. They would advise the clan mother in saying, hey, this is what we want, this is what we need, and then they would go on and advise the chiefs, who would take their issues to the Grand Council. All right? But consensus has to be made before they present their issues and their solutions. So this is on the Grand Council, which is all of the chiefs. This is within the clans itself. And here is just some words, right, that kind of take us to the exact same model. You can review that yourself. Today we're focusing on consensus. And consensus means everybody agrees. At the end of the day, if you know that everybody agrees. So what I want you to think about when we start exploring what is consensus, I just want you to imagine, if we're back in the classroom or even in your house, right? Imagine if you want to get everyone to agree on the same topic. If you want everyone to come up with basically all agree on either what you're having for supper tonight or how you should spend a free recess, right? Think about how hard that would be. Even in your own family. I don't know about you, but me growing up, we had a family of 5. I had my mom, my dad, my brother, and my sister. And whenever we would decide on like what would we get for supper, it was always a bit of a battle. I would always want pizza, someone would always want a burger, something like that, right? That's with 5 people. Now imagine how hard a consensus could be with more than that. But start thinking in your head as, how would I approach this situation? How would I actually start getting people to all agree together? And that's kind of what the Iroquois people have to do. So first of all, I'm just going to highlight the important pieces. So the Great Law of Peace, if you remember, the Great Law of Peace, it is what the Hiawatha Wampum Belt is. It describes Confederacy, and it's like the set of rules and what they live their lives by. So it sets out a system. So in it, there's a decision that allows, so in the Great Law of Peace, it allows everyone a voice and requires agreement for all. So it's in the Great Law of Peace that you need to have consensus. They also talk about some other things in this decision-making process. All right? It talks about equality amongst chiefs, authority is shared between men and women, right? Equality among chiefs, and the clan system is introduced so that no nation would ever take over the Confederacy. So this is how the Great Law of Peace kind of preserved equity and fairness, right? Because really, they wanted to end conflict. That's what the Great Law of Peace was. Is, hey, you guys are killing yourselves, stop. And how they did that is they created this Great Law of Peace that said everyone must agree on all decisions and have a voice. All chiefs are equal, even if there's more in one clan than the other, right? Men and women are equal too. Even though men are at the council, women nominate who go. And then with the clan system, everyone is one family, and so that's going to end all kind of war between each other because they belong to all various clans. So consensus was built into like the laws of the Iroquois. And so a consensus, basically, what are some advantages of it? Is that, first of all people will have an equal right to express their needs and ideas. So that's obviously an advantage. All people in a society will be heard about every topic. We will hear what they have to say, which usually means that more people are going to be satisfied, right? Everyone gets to discuss solutions and come to a decision which represents a solution that is agreed upon by everyone. It allows a decision to be reached which all involved feel that it's fair and they agreeable to them. If everyone gets a say and you all agree on it, obviously a lot more people are going to be satisfied, right? Instead of just having one or two people make a decision for you, every single person is part of that decision-making process. They're going to be more happy. If everyone's happy and everyone's part of the decision-making process, this promotes this idea of unity. I feel like I was part of something. I'm part of a group. I'm part of a nation. I'm part of a collective because I made some of these laws and these rules. Disadvantages, though, is that it is very time-consuming. Think about how long my videos are, right? Now you're making a decision with me and how long I talk. Decisions don't come quickly because they have to hear everybody out. And then what happens is a single stubborn person can also make it very difficult. Maybe one person really. So again, let's say we're voting on what should we have for supper, and one of your siblings really wants, let's say, pizza. All right, and you guys just had it last night and you don't want it again, but that person refuses to change their mind. By laws of consensus, you have to keep debating until everybody agrees. So one person makes it very long, and even just hearing everyone's opinion is long. And the more people in your group, the larger the group, the harder it is to reach a decision because there's more people speaking. This is the process. Now, I'm sorry this is sideways, I know, right? But this is kind of what happens. First, there's a discussion, right? People talk about the perspective of what they kind of think. Then someone will propose an idea. So discussion. What can we have tonight for supper? Well, I like this. I like this. I don't like this. Someone will then say, I think, based on this discussion and what I want, we should have tacos. Then what happens is they're going to test for a consensus. They're going to say, is everyone in favor of tacos? And now they'll put up their hands. And if we do not have someone with their hand up, we're going to go on to number 4, and then the concerns are going to be raised. Right? They're like, well, yes, we can get tacos, but I want a side of French fries. That's as long as we get that little bit more for me, then I will agree to this idea of tacos for supper. Right? They're raising concerns that they had. Or maybe someone's like, oh, well, I'm a vegetarian, so I don't eat meat. Right? So then I have concern about, as long as we have a vegetarian taco, that's my concern. The same thing with war. Right? Because this is going to be talking about war. They're like, well, as long as we're not marching through my land, because my crops are not doing very well anyways, I'm okay to go to war. So their concerns were raised. Then they're going to modify this proposal. They're like, okay, we'll go to war, but we can't march through Adam's land. And Adam's happy, everyone else is happy because they get to go to war. Same thing. All right, we'll order tacos, but we'll make sure they're vegetarian so that so-and-so can enjoy them as well. Here's just a quick advantages, disadvantages, exact same thing as just on one slide. So once again, let's revisit this idea of the decision-making process. So an issue arises, all right? They go through this process here, the whole thing. But this group, the Mohawk and the Seneca, they go through it first. Once a consensus is raised, and this is very interesting, okay? Think about how long it must take. Once a consensus is raised with these two tribes, then it goes over to these two tribes. If they agree, we move on, we have an agreement. If not, it cycles back through. Consensus is relevant everywhere, all right? It is needed in order to make any decisions in the Iroquois society. Same thing within the clans. In the clans, a consensus has to be made before you advise the clan mother about how to make changes in your society. So once again here, right, we have this idea of clan mothers can inform the clan chief reach on consensus. All right, so we should have a peace treaty, but first they need a consensus about what they should do. So this is consensus. I hope this has enlightened you. All right, I hope this has helped you understand some things. I don't think this video was too long. I think it was too perfect. Once again, I just found a way to end this stuff, and now I don't know how to end it. So you can log off now. Have a good day. Good luck with the assignment. This is still going to run on. I have nothing to share. I'm talking, waiting, praying, Command-Shift-5, that this ends. And it's not. Oh, there we go.